we decided to dedicate this episode to probably one of the greatest human beings to ever walk the face of the earth, easily the best director of all time.
I explain who I am. My name is Dr. Ellie Staple, and I'm a psychiatrist. My work concerns a particular type of delusion of grandeur. It's a growing field. I specialize in those individuals who believe they are superheroes.
He's a treasure.
Treasure's a word. That's definitely a word.
He's a beautiful creature who's given us such great films over the years as After Earth, The Last Airbender.
Oh, that hurts.
The Village. I guess that's a decent one, actually.
But he's
Happening.
He has also given us good movies.
Yeah, he's got like The Sixth Sense and Unbreakable and Split, which we'll talk a little bit about those two.
That's a segue right there.
Oh, to the new movie.
Hey.
Glass. Ooh.
The three of you've convinced yourselves you have extraordinary gifts like something out of a comic book. David Dunn, the only person to survive that train wreck all those years ago.
What do you do?
I'm in security.
You think you have superpowers.
It's a feeling, vision. I have to touch them.
You believe you are a protector.
My name is Patricia.
I have no question there are 24 identities
I'm Mary Reynolds. Por favor, señora. We almost got you, bro.
that live in that body with you.
The beast is coming any minute now for you guys.
But what I am questioning is your belief that you are something more than human.
The third part of the trilogy that started 19 years ago.
He's just been like waiting. He's like, I'm gonna make these good movies. I'm gonna make some crap, and then I'll come back with The Visit was okay, Split was good, and Glass. I guess we should get into our spoiler-free talk of Glass.
Yes.
We'll go a couple minutes with that, and then we'll get into spoilers because we have a lot to talk about. This was an interesting movie for sure. I think I was telling you yesterday. It was a good movie. I wouldn't call it great. I wouldn't call it bad. I think I said the same thing about like Venom when we talked about Venom. Mm-hmm. It was watchable. Yeah. I didn't like. There was a couple like that was a bit cheesy, corny, whatever. But it's also supposed to be it's M. Night Shyamalan's take of like his own comic book universe, which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
I guess.
So for me, this was like the perfect summation of Shyamalan's career. There's a lot of really good, but there's also some just really bad in this movie.
Yeah.
And for me, it's probably the weakest of the three movies in this trilogy.
Oh, easily.
It's still a good movie, as you said, but there's a lot of stuff, especially, we'll get into more spoilers here in a minute, but that third act lost me a lot.
If I had to put it in, like, look at his, like, career of movies, it probably would sit as, like, the border between the good and the bad. Mm-hmm. And, well, I'd probably put it over The Visit. So maybe that and The Visit I'd probably put, like, right in the middle.
Yeah.
And so, like, above that, it's just, like, The Sixth Sense, Split, and...
Unbreakable?
Unbreakable. Like I was trying to remember. Yeah, he's only got 3, like, I'd say, solid movies.
Yeah, but those 3 movies are really solid.
Yeah.
And then this is definitely, like, a middle-of-the-road movie. It's not anywhere near the badness that was The Last Airbender. But
he's come far from them. I think he kind of learned his mistake. I was watching a review of like of Split and like just his career, and they were talking about like how many good people worked on The Last Airbender, and it just kind of like came out. It's like weird. You look at like the lineup, like everyone involved in that was like Oscar winning at some point, or of like it's weird. It's just so weird how bad that movie turned out.
Didn't win an Oscar for that movie, I can assure you of that.
No, I think he won a Razzie though. Good for him.
That makes a lot of sense. But to pivot back to
Glass.
Yeah, this is a movie that is just middle of the road. It's weird because the thing that made the other 2 films really special for me is that you didn't know they were comic book movies until they were kind of revealed. Like it's with Split, at the end, you didn't know it's a comic book movie until the very end of the movie. Yeah. With this film, it's very much in your face in a way about the fact that it's a comic book movie.
But I think that's the point of like what it's trying to get, which is like Mr. Glass, played by Samuel Lord Jackson. I don't think that's his middle name, but I'm going to call him that because that's what he is.
Sounds good to me.
Who also I want to say all the performances in this movie I thought were pretty good from the main three for sure. Were Samuel L. Jackson as Mr. Glass, this is his movie, which is obviously because of the title, but and then there's James McAvoy, who Split is his movie, and he continues to do really well with his performance.
He's the best part of this movie. Is the best part of Split. So
he has some good laughs. We laughed several times at just his performance, and not in a bad way. He was fun. He's enthralling as the character.
His going in and out of the different personas or personalities is terrific, and it makes for some really funny moments, but also some really dramatic moments.
Yeah, for sure. And then Bruce Willis, of course, Mr. Die Hard himself, is. I guess he's called the Overseer, is his superhero name.
Yeah, his real name is David Dunn. That's the character.
Yeah, is David Dunn is the character. I don't think they ever called him they didn't give him a name in the.
He had 4 different superhero names in this movie.
Yeah, because I guess nobody could decide on which is how I believe a real superhero, if a real superhero existed in this world, because no superhero comes out and I'm the Overseer. That's my name. Yeah, no, it's usually that's what I like about this movie is because the newspapers and people give him nicknames, and he's I don't like that one. It's people okay, so this is my new nickname, and it's
it's there's the Overseer, there's the Tiptoe Man.
The Tiptoe Man, and there's something like that he hated.
None of them are particularly good nicknames, but
I thought the Overseer's fine. I would have called it the Green Hood or something like that.
I think that was another one, something along
something like that. Yeah, because his thing is he just wears a raincoat.
He should have been giant trash bag.
He should have been Mr. Raincoat or something stupid.
My boots are shivering, Mr. Raincoat. So do you want to kind of get into just grading the movie real quick, and then kind of start getting into a little more spoiler stuff?
Okay, yeah, we do that. I'd give it maybe a B minus.
B minus.
Or maybe a C plus.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't. There were no points in the movie where I'm ugh, or ugh. There was some, but it's. I enjoyed sitting through it, but not I didn't love it. I don't know how to say it.
Yeah, it was really interesting to watch. I'll say that. I kind of lean more towards the CC plus range. It's like you said, it's a watchable movie. It's even sometimes a good movie, but there's too many places for me where it just kind of falls apart.
There's a lot of flat. It just goes flat in some areas, and that's I don't know.
So to kind of steer more into spoilers now, I think for me once again the biggest issue I have with this film is the third act and what we see there, because the first 2 acts of this movie felt like you get in Unbreakable, like you get in Split. They feel very almost indie in a lot of ways, and slower, more character driven. And then the third act, it feels very comic booky.
I love we're gonna spoil. We're already in spoiler.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Yeah, I love I love the whole build up to where they get captured and put into the asylum. I like Bruce Willis skulking around, treating it like that. I like the build up with James McAvoy's character. I guess we'll just call him the Horde. He has a superhero name.
He's the Horde. His real name is the main guy is Kevin.
Kevin is the main personality, but he's the one we get the least of, I guess.
Yeah, well, we get him more in this movie than we did in Split.
Yeah, because I guess the other personalities are there to protect the main personality, which is Kevin.
Because they all stem from the fact that his mother physically abused him as a kid. So these kind of personalities rose up to kind of protect him from that and protect him from the world.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
I think it just makes for a fun. It definitely makes for a fun comic book character for sure. The idea of what he is.
These characters, the 3 main characters, all work in a comic book movie. It's just this might be just what I went in kind of wanting and expecting from this movie more than an actual complaint about the quality of the film. But it felt more like standard comic book movie than I got from Split or than I got from Unbreakable.
Yes, but I feel like that's because this one is way more upfront about how it is. It's literally Sam Jackson, Mr. Glass, refers to the whole scenario as a living comic book is like his whole. That's what his purpose is. He feels, and that's like the reason why he does what he does. Is he feels he has to be the villain.
Yeah, no, the last half of the movie, they like make sure you know that this is a comic book movie. You're like, oh, hey, so we're basing this all on comics. We're going to go to comic book store 5 times. Oh, he's the comic book villain.
They
oh,
did that in
he's the comic
Unbreakable
book.
as well, though.
But it's just like they beat it to death in this movie, in the last half of this movie.
Yeah,
It's like, if you didn't know you were watching a comic book movie, they told you at least 50 times. Like, hey, comic books. It's like, we get it. Like,
Yeah, I think he could have. That was one part I definitely had issue with. I feel like he could have reeled in the comic book aspect of it a bit more.
He's like, he wants you to know, like, hey, I'm M. Night Shyamalan, and this is my comic book movie. This is my comic book
This is
franchise.
my now to be comic book universe.
Like, this is my version of Christopher Nolan's Batman trilogy right here.
I guess that's kind of what it is, except for it's spanned over 19 years.
19 years, and it looks like it's going to continue to go.
Oh yeah, no. Heads up, this movie ends very much like we're gonna make more.
Yeah,
But to be honest, this one hits you with like 4 freaking twists at the end.
Yeah, see,
there's a lot of twists in this
and
movie.
That's the thing is they're there, but I don't know how many of them are necessary. And the big one, which is like, you know, revealing like the doctor lady, and they're all like work for this group, I guess, and they're like
there's like
preventing superheroes or something.
It's super Illuminati society.
Yeah, it's like we don't want superheroes to exist because we don't want people to know that like other people have superpowers
Which
or
is
something.
dumb. That's a weird. Like I like the idea of. I always like the idea of like a secret society cult, whatever, like trying to control the world, blah blah blah. But this, it was like it's a very specific reason for this cult to exist, and it's like. I don't know why. It's just like why.
It felt almost like forced in at the end.
It's very much a forced twist.
But with that being said, I expected some sort of twist with the Doctor because she had a much bigger role than I expected going into this film.
Watching her, I was definitely like, she's definitely got more to her. There's got to be, she's going to be the twist was what I knew would it be, and she does turn out to be part of it.
Because she went out of her way in one scene to convince them that like they're not like superheroes. Like, oh, you got shot 2 times with a shotgun? Well, that doesn't make you a superhero. Or, oh, you bent steel bars? That doesn't make you a superhero. Or you can climb walls? That doesn't make you a superhero.
I did like that part of like her breaking down like what would make them not superheroes, and the fact that it truly affects them. Besides Mr. Glass, who knew like all along, kind of, because that's his
He's
superpower.
always like 3 steps ahead.
Yeah, his superpower is he's very smart. That's just what his superpower is.
Well, it ain't physical because if you poke him in the wrong way, he's gonna break like 10 bones.
Oh my gosh,
So.
That's gotta suck. I that's what I like about Mr. Glass is just the idea of like you tap him too hard and he just like snaps, and it's just like it's such a gross but creep.
It's like if you just like blow on him a little bit, like
I don't think he's that breakable.
He'll just like break his arm.
He can because he was like there was points when he like tapping on like the keys of a keyboard, and it's not like every time he goes like and just breaks his fingers each time he touches them and stuff. But
so kind of going back to the doctor lady, like in her significance in this movie, I didn't expect that. I expected this movie to be much more like the 3 main characters just interacting, and if you don't get nearly enough of them, like just the 3 main characters just talking to each other.
That was kind of my problem. Is I wanted more of, I wanted basically the climax of the movie to be the whole movie, and that's not what it is. I wanted Mr. Glass to team up with the Horde and fight the Overseer.
Yeah. I just wanted more scenes of like 2 of them or 3 of them interacting because they're all 3 really good characters.
It's so great when they interact.
They all
with
play
each
off
other.
of each other really well when they're in scenes together.
Yeah.
Like my favorite scene of the movie is probably the one with Mr. Glass when he first kind of like sneaks into the Horde's room and talks to, I guess, Patricia.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's like in my opinion, the best scene of the movie.
Yeah.
Because I think those 2 characters' interactions like are the best part of the movie, and you don't get that enough in this film. It's very much, to me, it felt like it was advertised as like these 3 forces are going to meet, and it's going to be just these 3 people the entire movie. And we get Samuel L. Jackson's in like a comatose state for the first like half of the movie. He doesn't do anything. He just sit there and twitch.
Yeah, I get like the point. Like he's pretending to be basically like brain dead, because they don't want to like he doesn't want them to like wipe his memory or what? Do you understand what that device was? They have like the like laser device.
So they were supposed to like do some sort of like surgery on him.
Yeah, I don't
that,
know if it was
like,
supposed to make
made
him
it
brain
so
dead.
he wasn't as smart.
I guess.
Because the thing is with all three of them is they experienced some sort of like trauma that gave them these powers. So like that was his whole thing is like some trauma gave him these powers. So
he
like,
was born with like
well,
his.
the physical thing, but like just the brilliance, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Is like he got it, accumulated it somehow, and the idea was we're gonna go in and fix that. Like that was the same thing with David Dunn is like from the train crash, like he got like the physical kind of messed up in his brain that gave him superpowers, but they're not sure what else it did to him.
Yeah.
So it's kind of I think like that for all three characters. It's like they're trying to explain these superpowers.
I feel like that's wasn't that like part of Split was the idea of like so the Horde's like the Beast particular, which we didn't really mention, is like the main. It's like the strongest form of the
Beast
personalities.
is basically like
He runs them all.
I kind of like compare him to like a werewolf almost,
Yeah.
except a dude.
Yeah.
But
he his thing is like the idea of like those who are broken are evolve is like was his thing in like Split, I guess.
Yeah.
And so his idea is like anybody that goes through something that would break them and comes through it is stronger because of it, which is a good message. It makes sense because a lot of the points of these movies are the idea of these like traumatic events affecting people.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much like each one of their things. It's like what drives them kind of deal. Where was I going with this? So like, yeah, I don't know. The Beast was interesting. I didn't like how he like it literally like there were parts where he roars like a tiger and stuff like that. I thought that was a bit much.
That was something that was in Split a lot. Is they likened him and his personalities to lions and tigers.
Yeah, I get that.
I think the whole thing, like where he was hiding originally, was in the zoo
yeah.
in Split. So.
But he's like, I don't know. Like I like the idea of him being super strong and him climbing on the walls is cool and stuff. And I like his personality, but I just don't. I don't know. That was a bit much for me. It was like stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like good like practical effects in this movie, I'd say.
I mean, it didn't have a huge budget, so there couldn't have been too much CGI. I mean, most of it was just them standing around talking. Like,
yeah, no,
there
there
wasn't
wasn't
too much
like
action.
But like, I like the action in this
Yeah.
movie. Like, I like the first fight between Bruce Willis and the Beast. Is
Like we
really
just
cool.
threw the table at the girl, and just like,
Yeah,
and she
they
just
literally
like,
just throw the table back at each other and both catch it,
Yeah.
and then just the Beast throws it at the girl was
Like,
funny. And then the final fight between the Beast and like when he's fighting like the cops first, and then he ends up fighting Bruce Willis. Like I like the shot of the cops in the car, and then you just it's the two of them sitting in the car, and then the Beast just comes and like cling, hits the side of the car, and they're like, what the hell was that?
Yeah.
And then he comes back, king, hits it on the other side, and then you realize like he was doing that to like lock them in the car, and then he lifts the car up
flips it over,
and flips it on its side so they can't get out. Like I like that whole like scene. I like that shot. There's a lot of like stuff like that, and I like about the movie.
The action in the third act was good, but everything, most of the stuff around it, like I said, wasn't. I think another issue I have once again with the third act is the main issue I have with this movie, in case you couldn't tell, is the fact that it's just like there's a bunch of twists they throw at you at the end, and there's like 5 of them, and they just keep going on. Like I was like, okay, the movie's over. Twist. Okay, the movie's over.
that was
twist.
my
Okay, the
problem.
movie's
Was
over,
like
twist.
twist. I feel like M. Night Shyamalan, like, because everybody knows how an M. Night Shyamalan movie ends. It ends with a twist.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's his deal. Yeah. So he's like, I'm just gonna throw like 5 twists at them, and they'll be like, oh my god, he's genius.
It's like it didn't work like that. Like I didn't go out of there thinking it was genius. I was like, this is too much.
Yeah.
Like a twist now in an M. Night Shyamalan movie would be the twist is that there's no twist. That would be a twist. I'd pay to watch that. Do that, Mr. Shyamalama.
I mean, I guess like people have like faith in him now, so he's gonna, I guess, just gonna keep making.
Well, this
I don't know if he's gonna keep just doing these kind of movies, or if he's.
This is kind of gone into a full-blown franchise now. That's what at least it sets up, is because Mr. Glass even says like this is an origin story. Like this is. So I feel like they're setting up multiple
These
films.
3 movies were origin stories, and those origin stories end kick off a new origin story for a new movies. That's what's confusing about this.
It only took
franchise
19 years to tell the origin story for this franchise. And
yeah.
Now that we told the origin story, like all the 3 main characters that we know in these 2 films are dead.
Yeah.
So,
huge spoilers. They all die in the end.
Yeah.
They get murdered by this cult.
I didn't get just like in plain view outside, they're just sitting there like drowning Bruce Willis.
It's like no one's seeing them just shoving Bruce Willis's face into the water. By the way, that's his weakness, is he like drowns easily.
Which, once again, what is with M. Night Shyamalan and water?
Yeah, I was thinking that too when I was rewatching Unbreakable. I'm like, yeah, what is M. Night Shyamalan's deal with water? He loves
it's the same
water.
thing in Signs. It's like the alien's weakness is water. Which
Avatar: The Last Airbender. I'm pretty sure water has something to do with After Earth. Like he just likes water.
and then like the thing with this movie, it's like your weakness is water. It's like, well, 70% of your body is water. Like how does?
No, it's just like I think the idea of like he drowns in water really easily.
Yeah.
It stops him.
No,
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it's supposed to like weaken him.
Yeah.
Because like his traumatic experience, I guess, was that he was almost drowned as a kid.
Yeah.
But like, if he gets like a drop of water on him, like.
No, it's not like that.
Because like, he was like in like a puddle. Like it wasn't like a deep thing. He was in a puddle.
Well, they were
and
shoving his head into the puddle.
No, before that though. Like before that, like, because there's like a deep puddle, but like he's just in like a puddle that's like this thick of water, and he was like he couldn't fight back, and then they just dragged him to the actual puddle and drowned him. I was like, can you not fight in like an inch of water?
I don't know what his deal is. It's the weirdest part of like him
Yeah.
as a character is his weakness. I guess the Beast weakness is what was it? The hypno flashing lights.
Yeah, the flashing
It's like,
lights.
it makes him automatically switch to a different personality.
Mm-hmm.
Which I thought was fun because it just gets dumb at one point.
I think
in a fun
there's
way.
like one scene in particular where they're just doing it, and he's going through all these different.
They just
characters.
keep
I'm like,
flashing him, and he just keeps going between the personalities, and it's
yeah.
hilarious.
I'm like, this isn't really necessary, but it's entertaining, so
Yeah.
I'll let it slide.
That's what I thought. There was a lot in this movie that was unnecessary, but it was entertaining at points. Mostly with him, James McAvoy.
Listen, no, there's like I said, there's a lot of really good in this movie, and I know we're hating on it a lot, but I did enjoy a lot of this movie. I enjoyed a lot of the first 2 acts of this movie. It's just that 3rd act killed me. So kind of, I guess, steering now. Do you want to talk about like the supporting characters? Because like they each have like that supporting character that's supposed to like love them. Because one of the messages in this is that like love is like the savior. Mm-hmm. And that especially plays out with James McAvoy's character, the Herd, and the girl.
Yeah.
That's from Split is also back in this movie.
Yeah.
Did you buy that she was that like into?
That was a weird part I had. Like this guy kidnapped her and killed. Well, she and like the girls that she was with that he killed, but he's still a serial killer. He may be a serial killer with a heart of gold, but he's still a serial killer.
Very much so.
Who eats people?
Like
we didn't talk about it. He eats part of that guy, which I didn't realize he was a cannibal at some point.
He ate the dude, and like in Split, he ate the other 2 girls, and I don't know if he ate the.
Did
the
he? I don't remember
he
that.
He ate the other 2 girls in
he
Split.
did. Okay.
Which is like that was the very end of the movie.
Yeah.
But
he's a cannibal.
I don't know if I buy that like she is like.
But I guess the point was the idea of like she went through a traumatic event, as did he. That's why he let her go in Split,
Yeah.
and he feels like I guess they feel like there's some sort of connection between the 2 of them.
Yeah.
She likes Kevin. Like, let's be honest, she likes the personality of Kevin the most. She doesn't really care for the other ones.
She's trying to get Kevin to come out, and that's the whole
she
thing.
likes Kevin, which is the good one. It's
But once
like
again,
the only
like
real good
she
one.
only meets Kevin in Split for like 30 seconds.
Yeah, it's weird.
Like-
It's kind of a forced relationship because each one of the main characters has to have their side character that like connects them to reality. She is his, Mr. Glass is his mom, who's got to be like 90 something.
Did you? Am I the only one who like that makeup on her face looked?
It did look good.
It looked kind of weird.
It looked a little off. I don't know. Was that the same actress from Unbreakable reprising her
so
role?
that's the thing. It's like she was the same actress from Unbreakable, and then the Bruce Willis's son.
I was
the same kid
as soon
from
as I
Unbreakable.
didn't know that going into it, but as soon as I saw his son in this movie, I was like, is that the same guy?
Yeah.
Because he has like the same eyes still, and I was like, that's a crazy pull to bring that. He probably didn't continue on in acting, but M. Night was like, I need you back, kid.
He didn't do a bad job. So.
No, he did okay. He was decent. I feel like Samuel L. Jackson's mom was a little hammy at some points, but she was okay.
Like the thing with like apparently like the actress in real life like she can't be that much older than Samuel Jackson because Samuel
No,
Jackson's like
Samuel
70.
Jackson has to be older than her.
So like, you got to
probably.
make somebody look like Samuel Jackson's mom.
Yeah.
So
Just make her look 100 years old. She
And-
wasn't that old. She was probably like supposed to be like 80 or something like
yeah,
that.
probably. But still, though, like that makeup on her face didn't look
It didn't look
all that
great.
great. But obviously, those three characters going forward are kind of going to, I guess, be driving the franchise forward because those are the three characters we're left with at the end.
I don't know. Maybe they are. I kind of felt like his son would be. Like I feel like his son would like somehow carry on like Bruce Willis's.
Yeah.
I thought like somehow like his powers would transfer to his son or something like weird
Yeah,
like
I thought
that.
one of either his son or the girl was going to get
If
superpowers.
if
in
their
some way.
powers just transferred over, so like Samuel Jackson's mom just gets glass bones, just like just breaks like it's nothing.
I mean, she's like 80, so.
It doesn't matter. She might as well. Like that's just weird to bring her back, but. Also, yeah, same thing with like Samuel Jackson. Like people like treat him like he's an okay guy in this, but you got to realize like he's killed like thousands of people, or maybe like 1,000 people.
The only person who really treats him like that is his mom. Like the only person who really cares.
Well,
about
his
him
mom,
is
but
his
the
mom.
doctor like treats him like the assistants to the doctor treat him like just some other guy. But I don't know.
Well,
That's
that's
them
'cause
like
he's, like-
faking. I guess it's them faking.
That's
it.
what I gathered from the two like dudes who he kills, the two I guess nurses or
Whatever.
assistants.
Assistant.
Yeah,
nurses.
like-
They're nurses. They're nurses.
What I
yeah.
gathered from them is that they just didn't like it was almost like sarcasm, like they were faking it. They didn't actually care about him.
That could be.
That's what I gathered from it, but
When he kills that one, I'm like, woo! I like that.
yeah,
that was
just out of nowhere.
That was fun. That caught me off guard, and I appreciate it. Well, I knew he was gonna do something. I wasn't expecting that.
It's like he's gonna escape somehow. So
Yeah, I like that the transition of when you realize that Mr. Glass is just faking it. I mean, we knew he was probably faking it, but I like the sudden shift to them like realizing like he's up to something. They know he's up to something.
well, this isn't. That's what I'm saying. It's like the thing that Samuel Jackson does really well. It's like even when he's in the comatose state, his face, like you can still tell like he's up to something and he's thinking something through. It's not just like he looks like dead. He looks like he's thinking something through the entire time. So even when he's not doing anything, he's doing something.
Yeah. I feel like I'm trying to debate which I preferred in more, or which I enjoyed more, was Samuel Jackson in this or James McAvoy. I guess I had more fun with James McAvoy, but I really did enjoy Samuel Jackson's performance in this.
Samuel Jackson, like he's great in everything. He's
Yeah.
one of my favorite actors. James McAvoy is also a really good actor.
Yeah.
But I think in this specific movie, I enjoyed Mr. Glass more.
I did. I really, especially at the end when he gets hurt.
Yeah.
I really liked his performance of like him just breaking. Like it's so great.
It kind of made me like squint, like ooh.
I was like, ooh, sorry, Mr. Glass. I know
It was
you're
like, yeah,
a
like you
mass
hear,
murderer.
you hear the
but
cracking pretty loudly.
I was just so. Honestly, I was really upset when he killed off all three of them. Like I wanted another movie, or I wanted more with these characters, and like I guess that's the big twist. Or well, there's two. I give him two big twists, and that's that he went ahead and killed all three of them, and that there's a secret society.
There's the two big twists is the secret society, and then he killed all of them, and then the third twist is that the secret society, I guess, lost, and that the video ended up getting out.
I guess I'd call that a twist.
Because like the movie could have just easily ended like, oh hey, they won, and then at the last second she goes back to the what's the word I'm looking for, asylum,
yeah.
and she's like, oh hey, he actually like outsmarted us this entire time. As I was saying, a lot of these twists were fairly predictable, but
Yeah, the only one I'd say the cult kind of the whatever secret society kind of definitely came out of nowhere, and them all dying was.
Yeah.
I figured like one of them die, and I figured it would be like Mr. Glass. I did not expect all three of them to die. That's what was kind of. I bet it was like Bruce Willis was like, I'm not coming back for another one.
I believe that because like Bruce Willis. I don't know if he's like Harrison Ford, like he doesn't really want to do these franchises anymore. It feels like to me.
But he's not. I mean, he really hasn't been up to much in recent years.
Yeah.
Like he's just kind of whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't. He did the Die Hard franchise. He's done 6 of those movies. I don't know. He can't come back for one of his really good movies.
I'm pretty sure they're doing another Die Hard. I don't know if he's supposed to be in it, but they're doing
God.
another one.
It's probably gonna be with his son. But then now we're getting into Die Hard, and I don't want to get into Die Hard.
But yeah, kind of going back to the 3 dying, that kind of like, especially when you're planning a franchise moving forward, to not at least have one of them present, because like, I think the whole reason you go see this movie is because those 3 characters.
Yeah.
So like,
it was the only reason I wanted to go see it.
That's the only reason.
Mr. Glass and James McAvoy.
So like, when you kill off those 3 characters and like, oh, but there'll be more films, like, why do I want to see the films if none of these 3 characters that I thoroughly enjoyed aren't there anymore?
Yeah, that's probably my biggest problem with the movie. Like, don't get me wrong, it was really emotional watching them all die. But I'm upset more the fact that they're just gone now.
Yeah.
Like I came to see those 3 characters, and now they're not going to be in any more of the movie.
If this was the end, that's fine. But the fact
he should have just killed like one of them.
It seems like they're continuing this forward. To me, it's like, why would I go see that?
We say that, like this movie could maybe not do well, and maybe they won't make more.
It's only got a budget of like $30 million. So if it makes,
really,
yeah, it's not like I said. It wasn't a very big budget. So if they make their money,
that's crazy.
So I'm assuming they're going to be able to make a profit off of this.
God, $20 million of that must have just gone to like the actors.
Right,
that is such a small budget.
Yeah. Like I said, it wasn't a very big budgeted film. That's why there probably wasn't a lot of action or CGI.
Oh, it's definitely going to make its money back.
Yeah,
for
so
sure.
they're definitely
Split was real popular. That movie did really well, and that's obviously why this movie went on and got made.
But it's just like, I don't know if I'm going to want to go see another movie in this franchise if it's just
Not
comic book franchise without these 3 characters that I love. Because like the other 3 characters that are, I guess, left, like they're cool, but I'm not like super excited to see more of them, you know?
Yeah, no, I'm not. I don't know. I guess I guess maybe it'll be like a kick-ass kind of universe in the sense of like everybody with superpowers is going to become, or not superpowers, become heroes or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Because it kind of ends on that note of like, now you can be a superhero. You can come out as a superhero.
That's
or whatever.
kind of the other thing is like, they go online and have this video of all these dudes. I'm like, I can go online and find videos of dudes flipping cars and looking like superheroes.
It's like practical effects exist, people. Just because you see a video online of like a guy like flipping a car doesn't mean he actually flipped the car.
It's like, and everybody's like,
that's why I thought as we watched that final like scene, I'm like, this wouldn't work in real life.
Yeah, it's like
if I saw this video, I'm like, this is clearly like a wire is pulling that car or whatever.
Yeah,
blah
right?
blah blah. Yeah.
Like, this isn't how the internet works.
I don't know.
But
this is one of those universes where like it tries to ignore like certain things, like with like The Walking Dead ignores the idea that like zombies are a genre of like films. Maybe it's like this is like, oh my God, superheroes, they're real. I mean, it is. That's what the whole like point of the movie is.
Let's have the internet, but like not acknowledge like how it works, and then But
that was the problem with this and like Split 2, where like I feel like M. Night Shyamalan doesn't understand like social media. Like he does that, and like I feel like he just poorly. And I don't think he writes. I'm sure he helps write the movies, but I feel like he just misunderstands what the internet is.
Pretty sure he's a writer on this movie.
Did he?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But do you have anything else to say before we wrap it up here, dude?
I guess if you've seen Unbreakable and Split, go see this. I'd say, yeah. If you haven't seen those, I feel like there's no real reason to go see
Honestly,
this.
yeah, it doesn't. It on its own, it doesn't really stand up. It's if you like these 3 characters, see it, but don't expect it to be as good as Split or as good as Unbreakable.
For sure.
So
that's
yeah,
about it.
Thanks.
Anything else you got?
Not really,
Thanks for tuning in to Spinnaker Spoilercast. We're gonna try first ever live action one.
Yeah, right.
We're gonna try and do this bi-weekly. I don't know. Do we have any clue? We haven't even talked about where our next one is.
I don't know.
We got a lot of. It's January, so there's a lot of crap out. So we'll watch something.
Yeah, we'll be back here in 2 weeks. Woo.
Woo. Hopefully with more people.